Yo, what's happening, Cowboys Nation? All my fellow Dallas Cowboys fans. This your boy, the Real McCoy, coming at you, man, with another video, man. I just got done doing the video picking my ultimate team for the Dallas Cowboys for offense. My 11 starters who I will put on the field. If you haven't checked that out, go check that video out, man. My team will be tough to beat, man. Tough to beat, especially with Jimmy Johnson as the head coach, you know. But this video here, man, talking about draft and things like that. 2016 rookie draft class played extremely well this year. I want to do a video. What are the best draft classes in Dallas Cowboys franchise history? What's the best? You know, we've had some good ones. Man. So it was tough, you know what I mean? But I had to narrow it down to 5. The 5 best draft classes in Dallas Cowboys franchise history. I was gonna do, like, you know, show some highlights and, you know what I mean, of each player, each draft. But I didn't want to make the video too long, you know what I mean? So I'm just going to talk about a few players in the draft and, you know, and why I ordered them the way I did from 5 to 1. Now, I do got a few. It was hard to narrow it down to 5. I got a few honorable mentions, man. 1988 draft. Ken Norton Jr. Love Ken Norton at linebacker. Underrated linebacker on the number 1 defense in the 90s. I love Ken Norton's dad. He was a heavyweight boxer and fought Muhammad Ali, had a great fight against Larry Holmes. I love boxing. But Ken Norton and playmaker Michael Irvin in the 88 draft, you know what I mean, honorable mention. The 2008 draft had a lot of talent and potential. Felix Jones, Mike Jenkins, the corner out of USF. I think Tashard Shorts, Orlando Scandrick, Martellus Bennett. That was a lot of expectations from the 08 draft, you know what I mean. Another honorable mention, the 2010 draft, Sean Lee, Dez Bryant. You know what I mean? Just those 2 names right there. But not everybody could be in the top 5. And my criteria I was looking for is the depth of the draft. You know what I mean? How many guys in the draft, you know what I mean, had an effect on a team's success, made the roster. You know what I mean? So the depth of it, the quality of the draft. Were there any Hall of Famers? Individual success, team success. Did this draft class win any Super Bowls? Things like those. That's what I was looking for. And so it was tough to narrow it down, but this is my top 5 draft classes in Dallas Cowboys franchise history. Starting off with number 5 was the 05 draft. Most people consider the 05 draft the best in the decade. We had some bad ones. The 09 draft was terrible. But the 05 draft, man, led by DeMarcus Ware, Jay Ratliff, Marcus Spears, Chris Canty, Marion the Barbarian. Talented draft. A lot of expectations, man. Just 2 years later, I thought they were going to win a Super Bowl in 07. Just 2 years later. That draft was talented, man. A lot of injuries, especially with Jay Ratliff. Marcus Spears didn't quite do what I thought. I think at the time we were running a 3-4. I thought he was a better fit in a 4-3 end, but or at least in 3-tackle technique. But that draft was talented. The 05 draft was extremely talented, man. From a talent standpoint and a potential, they could be higher, but it's just team success. You know what I mean? Just team success. That's why I don't have them as high as some of these other draft classes, things like that. But potential and talent coming out, the 05 draft was talented, man. It was extremely talented, led by DeMarcus Ware. DeMarcus Ware is arguably the best defender in franchise history. Maybe him, you know, Randy White, things like that. So depending on how you, Dion, Charles Haley, however you want to do it. Longevity, things like that. So however you want to do it, but that 05 draft was talented. I thought that for sure that draft was gonna get us a ring, man. But I got them at number 5, man. So number 4, I got the Dirty Dozen. Now you millennials may not know the Dirty Dozen. That's a 1975 draft called the Dirty Dozen, because this is back when I think they had a 10 or 11 draft. I mean 11 rounds. The Dirty Dozen, because 12 actually made the active roster, which is pretty impressive. 12 guys made the roster, and you know, most contributed, you know, because in 75 we won a Super Bowl 2 years later. You know, you look at 75 and then what, 30 years later in 05, I think the 05 draft is more talented than the 75 draft, but the 75 draft, they won a Super Bowl 2 years later. Now, they already had Roger Staubach, you know, they already had Drew Pearson, they had Tony Dorsett, but 05, well, they had Tony Romo, you know what I mean, Jason Witt and things like that already on the roster. So, but that's why I think talent, 05 draft is more talented than the 75 draft. But, you know what I mean, the Dirty Dozen, man, it's 12 guys made an active roster. That's pretty impressive. And the 75 draft was led by Randy White. Say Randy White, DeMarcus Ware. Who's the better defender in franchise history? You know, Randy White's a Hall of Famer. You know, the 75 draft also had Hollywood Henderson, Thomas Henderson. He has some drug issues, but Herbert Scott, Pat Donovan, you know what I mean, one of the better offensive linemen in franchise history. He was on my ultimate team, you know what I mean, well, one of the candidates for my ultimate team, Pat Donovan. So the Dirty Dozen. They won the Super Bowl in 77. That's the only reason why I put the Dirty Dozen ahead of the 05. They won a Super Bowl 2 years later. Where in 05, 2 years later in 07, #1 seed, but they didn't get it done. You know what I mean? So, anyway, moving on. Number 3 is the 89 draft. One of the most famous run plays the Cowboys ran in the 90s was the lead draw for Emmitt Smith. And who was the lead blocker? Darryl Moose Johnson. You know what I mean? He was an 89 draft. Tony Tolbert was there. Mark Stepnoski, the center. He won 2 Super Bowls with us, in 92 and 93. You know what I mean? And of course, #1 overall pick, Troy Aikman. You know what I mean? You got 3 Super Bowls right there. You know what I mean? So, 89 draft is pretty good. I got them ahead because they got the rings. The 05 draft might be more talented and more potential, but the 89 draft they want. At the end of the day, the reason why you play the game is to get that ring. To get that ring, man. That's why you play it. In the 89 draft, hey, you know what I mean? They gave us 3 in the 90s, no doubt about it. I got them at number 3, man. Now, the last 2, this is where I think you guys may think I'm crazy, especially the older generation. This is where you guys probably going to disagree with me, but in number 2, I got the 64 draft. 3 Hall of Famers in the 64 draft. Mel Renfro. I mean, a lot of you young guys may not know Mel Renfro, man. I think his first 10 seasons, he made it to the Pro Bowl. Hall of Famer at DB. I think he did some returns as well. Bob Hayes. You know, his track speed, you know, revolutionized the deep passing game. You know what I mean? Hall of Fame. You know, and of course, some say the biggest steal in NFL draft history, 10th round pick quarterback Roger Staubach out of Navy. I mean, if you're a Cowboys fan, you mentioned Roger Staubach, I ain't even got to talk about it. You know what I mean? What's understood need not be said. You know what I mean? Everybody respect Roger Staubach. 3 Hall of Famers in 1 draft. I mean, that's why I said most of you guys probably think that should be number 1. 3 Hall of Famers in 1 draft. That's impressive, man. That's impressive. I was going back and forth who I should put them at number 1, or me personally, I got the 1991 draft. 64 had 3 Hall of Famers, you know what I mean? But now 1991, you had cornerback Larry Brown, Super Bowl MVP in 95, and Neil O'Donnell threw him 2 picks. Eric Williams at left tackle. I mean, at right tackle. He on my ultimate team. He's my starting right tackle. Eric Williams, Alvin Harper. You know what I mean? Leon Lett, Russell Maryland. Now I know in '91 the Cowboys already had Michael Irvin, Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith. Already had those 3. But in my opinion, if it wasn't for the '91 draft, the Cowboys wouldn't have won those Super Bowls in the '90s. I mean, the 1992 NFC Championship game against the 49ers on the road at Candlestick Park. Alvin Harper was the one who made the play in the 4th quarter on that slant or a skinny post, like a 70 yard, about 60-yard game. He made the play, not Michael Irvin. You know what I mean? Big play. And a lot of people think that's the game that put the Cowboys on the map. You know what I mean? A lot of people felt like Leon Lett at defensive tackle and Eric Williams at right tackle, those 2 were the best players at their position at that time. You know what I mean? Just the Russell Maryland. I mean, it's not 3 Hall of Famers like the 64 draft. I mean, you could go either one. 64, 91, in my opinion. The 91 draft is just as deep, just as talented as the 05 draft. But they got the rings, man. They got the ring. Like I said, if it wasn't for the 91 draft, I don't think the Cowboys win those Super Bowls. Like, that's just my opinion. I truly don't. Eric Williams played a big part. Alvin Harper made that big play in the NFC Championship game in '92. You know what I mean? Leon Lett was big time. Russell Maryland, defensive tackle. I mean, Larry Brown won a Super Bowl MVP in '95. I mean, I say the depth of it, what they were able to accomplish, the impact on the team. That's why I gave 91 a slight nod over 64. Even though 64 had 3 Hall of Famers. That's impressive. Now, some of you guys might be asking, where's the 2016 draft? Good question. Great question, actually. You know what I mean? 2016 draft, we saw Ezekiel Elliott, Dak Prescott, Malik Collins, Anthony Brown. All those guys played well. You may see more of Kevon Frazier because both of our safeties, Church and Wilcox, are both free agents. We might see more of Frazier. We haven't seen Charles Tapper and Jalen Smith. A lot of potential there, especially Jalen Smith. And I made a video recently talking about Rico Gathers at tight end. Is he going to be the heir apparent at tight end for Jason Witten? I mean, potentially, the 2016 draft will probably go down as the best in franchise history. Arguably, may think I'm crazy, it may go down as the best in NFL history. I know I'm crazy. The 2016 draft may go down as the best in NFL history, depending on what they do potentially. The potential to do that is definitely there. No doubt. It's there. But the only negative I can say about them is they're rookies. It's with these other draft classes, they did it year after year. You know, I'm not a fan of one-hit wonders. Don't one-hit wonder me. No. Be consistent. Longevity. Do it year after year. You got to prove yourself year after year after year. You know what I mean? You got to prove it. And that's the only negative I got about the 2016 draft is just 1 year they're rookies. Do I see them guys climbing that ladder, being in the top 5 and being number 1? No doubt, in my opinion. A lot of you guys may say it may rest on Jalen Smith's knee. That's my top 5 drafts in Cowboys franchise history. Some a little bit more fun. Let me know what you guys think. The 64 draft, man, 3 Hall of Famers in 1 draft. That's impressive. That's impressive. The 05 draft, potential, the ceiling, just couldn't quite, you know what I mean? Let me know what you guys think. What's your top 5 drafts? You know what I mean? Agree, disagree with me. I want you guys to like, subscribe, share, leave a comment, all that good stuff. Got some more fun videos coming out soon. Let me know what you guys think, man. I'm just trying to get away from, you know, the serious videos, talking about the draft and free agency and things like that. Something a little bit more laid back. You know, this your boy, the Real McCoy Cowboys Nation. Let me know what you guys think, man, about this. And give me your top 5 list, and we'll talk about it down in the comment section, man. This your boy, the Real McCoy Cowboys Nation. I'm out, man. Peace.